This is Eric Okamoto, and this is my student, Mr. Laga, and he's going to help me. This is Mr. Tondor. He's one of my students, and he's going to help me show you about my book, the drum set book that I was going to show you at NAMM. And I'm going to try to make a video explaining the process in my book and how it's going to be one of the best books ever written for percussion. And I'll show you in step-by-step process. Okay. Now, I'm going to explain the process of how the book is written, and you use Mr. Tondor to use a question and answer period like I would do someone on the streets or whatever, trying to demonstrate my book. Now, I'm going to be in 4/4, and I'm going to write 16th notes and 16th note rests, traditionally, all across here. There we go, and that's in one bar. 16th notes and 16th note rests. Now, I'm going to ask Mr. Tondor, I'm going to point to a note, and he's going to tell me what count it's on. Now, 16th notes are counted 1 E and 2 E and right. Every 16th note, okay? So this is 1 E and so forth. So, of course, this is count what?
1.
Right. Now, can you tell what count that is?
2.
2. And what count this is?
3.
And what count this is?
4.
Now, I'm going to rewrite this, Mr. Famularo, and make it so that it'll be 10 times easier to see. Now, instead of having 16th note, 16th note rest like that, I'm going to block everything in 4s. So you have B1, B2, B3, B4, and I'm going to put stems on it, or notches, denoting every 16th note. Unless I put a note head on it, you don't hit it. So if I put a note head here, and a note head here, and a note head here, and a note head here, remember this is 1 E and correct? So what count is this on?
1.
What count is this on?
E.
Good. What count is that on?
And.
What count is this on?
Yes,
that was fast. Now, this and this are the same thing. So that's not count 2, that's actually E. That's not count 3, that's actually and that's not count 4, that's But, which is the easier way to read it?
Second.
The second. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Noah. Now, if I put an X on the note, that means the symbol. And if I put the note on the very bottom, I consider that the lowest note. That's the bass with your foot. And if I put a note just below the hi-hat, the X right here, that's the snare. So I'm using hi-hat or cymbal, snare, and bass drum. That's all. That's the main groove. And then let's kind of do it like this, and then put the snare here, and then the bass on the very bottom. Okay? So we're going to try some. And you've never seen my book before, and we're going to try playing a groove, so you'll be able to play a groove within 2 or 3 minutes. Okay? That's traditional. This is contemporary. This is the way I wrote it, and that's how I got a U.S. patent for it, as far as the design of it and things like that. Hi-hat, snare, and bass. Now I'm going to show you how it applies to the students and how quick they can pick up on it. Okay. So to reiterate what happened, if it was not clear on the previous video, I'll do a little bit closer view of it. I put a 4/4 bar here of 16th notes and 16th note rests, traditionally. Like so. And then he said that this was count, and I asked him what counts these were on, the notes, and he said this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, like that. And so I gave him an alternative. I said, well, I'm going to block them like this. This is how I do it in my book. Like so I got a pattern on it. And I put notches here for the 1E and 2E and 3 and so forth. And then I put a note head on it. And then I asked him what counts they were. He said this is 1, and he said this is the E of 2, the AND of 3, and this is the 4, which is the exact same thing as this, except this is incorrect. That's the E, this is the AND, and this is the And I asked him which way was easier to read, and he said this way. Okay, so you either have a choice of reading it this way, or if you condense the whole thing, it would look more like this could be a quarter note, this could be a 16th with a dotted 8th note, then an 8th note with an 8th note, and then a dotted 8th note with a 16th note at the end. So either way, you have to figure out and calculate where you are in the music. Whereas this is blocked, and it's much more clear to my students and to everyone else. So that's pretty much the layout of my book, like this, instead of this way. And my book also is all in 4/4. So they chose this one over this one. Now this is Mr. Tandora, and he's going to go ahead and start with my book right off the bat and get going. So this is quad drum theme 1 with cymbal theme 5. Cymbal theme 5 on the hi-hat, you're pretty much playing, if you count, 1E and 2E and then that's the snare drum, and then that's the bass. And so you're going to go back and, start with the snare, go to the bass, and then on the next page you're going to go back and forth to the bass and snare. It's that easy. Is chop building, and once you get through my book, you'll be able to play pretty much every single drum set book on the market, okay? Because it mathematically goes through every variation. So you're right-handed, aren't you? Good. Now, I want you to put your right hand here, and then the hi-hat part's like this: 1E and it. Can you do that? 1E and it. See, that's 1E and it. The snare part with your left stick is just on 1. Yeah, it's just on 1. So they're together. 1E and it. Can you do that?
Okay.
1E and it. Good. Let me turn that snare up a little bit. So we'll go over here. Okay, now, you might want to scoot up because you got to put your foot on the foot pedal eventually. Right. Okay? See, and over here, you're going to do the exact same thing except with the bass. Okay? And you're right-handed, so the right hand goes here. There you go. Now, I'm going to let you go and let you do. Now, you have 2 ways of counting this, Mr. Mr. Tandora. Either you go 1E and or go 1 and, because the E and the are not played. What would you feel better with? 1 and, that's what I was thinking, because there's no E's and O's, and that's a lot of mouth work, to say. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and try that? Make sure to count so you don't get lost. And Mr. Familar, they're made in 4-bar phrases. So they have to play it 4 times and then go to the next one, to the next one, so they can start developing phrasing. Okay, go right ahead, Mr. Tandora. That's all right. Sorry. He's corrected. It just goes back and forth between bass and snare, bass,
Yeah.
snare. That's okay. Keep trying. Keep going. Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, bass, snare, bass, snare, bass. Right. Now, the only problem here is that you kept playing the bass throughout the whole thing. It's because of coordination skills. That's all. You just have to work on that. That's I was showing that he's never seen drum set music before, ever. He's a brand new student. We're going over quarter notes and eighth notes, and we're jumping to 16th notes. Just roll like that. He's never played the set like this before, and he's just had some coordination problems right in here, but that could be easily fixed. But the next section here is the same one-note theme, except it's pushed over. So it's a permutation of the one-note theme, so you start everything on the E instead of on the 1. And the whole book is like that. It's all permutations of the 16th notes, to the point where it's kind of like when Vinnie Colaiuta does permutations of his grooves and slides everything over. That's what it's like. And I'm showing them right off the bat in middle school how to do that. So, in a nutshell, that's pretty much the book, and there are 2 volumes. And it goes over 1-note theme, 2-note themes in volume 1, and 3-note themes and 4-note themes in volume 2. And